everyone, I am Brittany the Cosmic Lunar Soul, and I am finally back to you with Act 2 of the Spymaster's Gambit. This is the RPG for the Citadel Oracle deck. If you would like to see a flip through of that Oracle deck, you can go ahead check out either the card here or the link in the description. If you would like to see part 1 of this, also in the card or in the description, check that out and then come back and check out Act 2. Okay, so this is our notebook. We're doing this solo style. This is actually, just as a recap, this RPG is meant for a full campaign, or you can add it on as like an expansion to like a regular campaign. I'm very new to the RPG world, so this is just my solo adventures. But I'm doing this as a solo campaign. So to do that, I'm using a combination of different things, including this is the one-page, it's hard to see, sorry. Okay, that should be better. I'm using the one-page generator oracle, along with the Fables tables 1 and 2, and then I have this arcane artifacts and curious curios. So I'll just be kind of going through them just to build the world and characters and everything around us. And this is our notebook. So we're doing this sort of a little bit journal style. I'm not writing a lot because I'm talking to you guys. So if you were doing this on your own, not on camera for other people to see, you would mostly be writing the stuff that I'm saying. Okay, with that being said, let's go back to who we are. We are Orlin Trueblood. We're a runaway from another town. We're an older gentleman with elaborate facial features. You probably see him right here or here, wherever editor Brittany decides to put him in. And he wanted to basically escape his backwater town and wanted to help people make a difference. So he's new to this town, but he is also fairly well known because he likes to help people out and he's pretty good at it. And this is our wrap up from Act 1. So Orlin found out that the Spymaster actually lied about the items being stolen. The Spymaster was actually working with the alchemist. The alchemist did steal the key, but we still don't know why. The botanist didn't give the full story to Orlin. The dancer's performance is the only place the parade stops. Somehow that feels important, but we don't know how yet. The queen is putting a lot of pressure on the Spymaster, and currently it's 10:40 p.m. The reason the time matters is because the parade starts at 10, so we're running out of time. We're going to start keeping track of time in this one if you're coming from Act 1. And thing of note, the parade ends at the Dawn Gate at 12 p.m. So the parade runs for 2 hours. We're less than 12 hours to the start of the parade, and we kind of have to get going. So Orlin has a few things. He has a compass. He has some songbirds. We only have a few coins left because we bought a few things. We found the alchemist's notebook in his shop. And we have the veil, which helps us unveil hidden things to us. We have belladonna seeds. We have this black residue that we found out later was actually fulminating silver. And we still are carrying around the theater program. Not sure if that's important later, so Orlin's just keeping it in his pack for now. Orlin left off Act 1 by finding the secret tunnels. The tunnels are beneath the aqueduct. The tunnels are dark, damp, and disused. Unlit torches sit in the rusted sconces, and moisture from the water course above makes the walls slick and slimy to the touch. Underfoot, the pavings are uneven and slippery, curving ahead endlessly as they follow the pipelines which provide the Citadel with a steady stream of fresh water. There are a few tunnels. Orlin has to decide if he's going to use the broom or the veil to figure out which way to go. Let's see. We'll roll a d4. We'll just go with even or odd to see what he uses. Even, we'll use the veil. Odd, we'll use the broom. So let's see. Even. So we'll use the veil again. So Orlin pulls out the veil, and He holds it up in front of him and he sees the alchemist scurrying down the hallway. He follows the alchemist trail and it leads him to another wall. This wall doesn't have the same symbols that he saw. In fact, he doesn't see very many symbols at all on this wall upon closer inspection. The only thing that he found were two indentions in the wall. Gets to the wall, he's not sure what to do. There are no symbols, nothing to put together, but the indentations must mean something. So he pulls out the notebook and he goes through to read about the fulminating silver that he has, or some of the other objects he has, to see what he can use. And he realizes that the fulminating silver will open the door. He uses the fulminating silver, presses open the door, or lets it react, and it creates just a light spark. It doesn't blow anything up, just enough to trigger in the mechanism of the doorway, and out he steps into the secret lair of the alchemist. So the alchemist isn't there, but Orland sees a familiar shape. It's a map of the Citadel. So he goes over, he sees the map of the Citadel and realizes that it's a map, it includes the route of the parade marked on it. He also notices that at various locations along this route, there were drawings of the missing items that he was supposed to find. The rune stones, the scorpion, the file. And yet the drawing of the fourth item, the perfume, was scratched out and replaced with the sketch of the key. If you remember, we saw that the alchemist stole a key from the Spymaster, so that's very curious. He notices that, the perfume was sketched out and there's a bottle of perfume sitting next to the map. So let's see if Orland decides to take it. I'm going to say the likelihood is pretty high because it's sitting right there and it was something that was purposefully marked off of the map for some reason. So it has to be important for some reason. So since we're going to go with a high likelihood... Okay, so we only need a 3 or more to see if Orland will take it. So let's see if Orland will take the perfume. Okay, thank goodness for that likelihood. All right, so Orland decides to take the perfume. He puts it in his pack and decides to keep it with him for safekeeping. He also notices off to the side that there's like a little notepad with writing on it. So he picks it up and realizes that it's a plan, which explains that the items have been placed along the parade route. He kind of figured that out from the map, but the plan goes on to explain that it's in order to construct a gigantic transmutation spell. So originally the spell was supposed to turn the queen into lead, and the spell will now transform the Spymaster instead. It will be activated as the target visits the location of each hidden item, the spire, the estock, and the tavern, and will be cast upon the target's arrival at the Dawn Gate. And remember, the Dawn Gate is where the recital is supposed to take place. So Orland, as he's inspecting this map and he saw the plans, he realized that underneath the map, there's a sealed envelope addressed to the botanist. So, of course, he has to open it. He's too far in not to, right? So he opens the letter and realizes that it's a letter from the alchemist. So it explains that the Spymaster has been extorting the alchemist to do her dirty work, taking out her rivals using transmutation spells. But now the alchemist has turned the Spymaster's own plot against her. The alchemist apologizes for lying to the botanist and promises that soon everything will be made right. You've noticed that this term has been thrown around a lot, transmutation. You see a little book next to the map and the plans, and it's a book of transmutation spells. So the book details how the spells work with notes scrawled in the margin. Each annotated spell matches the mysterious deaths and disappearances of the people on the Spymaster's list. Now, if you don't remember, we found a list in the Spymaster's office of different names, But we didn't take the list with us. We thought it was probably a better idea not to take too many things from the Spymaster's office. So the alchemist has noted down the victim's personal items at the top of each page. So Orlin takes the Book of Transmutation spells and continues to look around the lair for whatever else might be uncovered. So he notices, as he had flipped through the book, there was a page with a page torn out, and he happened to find that amongst some other stuff, other random papers, and it has 2 alchemical formulas on it. One called Fool's Transmutation, which makes an object appear like something else, and another called Fool's Choice, Fool's Truth. The latter is a powder which, when sprinkled on the enchanted object, will reverse the Fool's Transmutation and reveal the object's true form. Unlike real transmutation, which is a spell that requires multiple components, including a personal item, the Fool's Transmutation compound only makes an object or person appear like something else. Orlin reads the ingredients for Fool's Truth. He needs borax, galena, and fool's gold. Fool's Transmutation needs vermilion, gypsum, and fool's gold. And each powder takes 30 minutes to make. We have, Orland has a decision to make. He needs to decide if he wants to dismantle the transmutation spell that the alchemist put in place. Because if he doesn't, the Spymaster will turn to lead when she reaches the Dawn Gate. Alternatively, Orlin can decide to replace it with the perfume so the queen turns to lead, or just remove all of the items and no one turns to lead at all. So I'm going to say that the queen option is out. Right? Orland really likes the Citadel. He's a good Samaritan. He's not going to put the queen in any kind of danger. But the Spymaster, on the other hand, he's put the pieces together, and it seems she's the one who's been responsible for the deaths of innocent citizens of the Citadel over the past few months, and that just doesn't sit right with Orlin. So we have to decide if Orlin is going to decide to let the Spymaster turn to lead or remove the items and no one turns to lead. Okay? So this will be, whatever rolls highest we'll go with. This will be in favor of turning to lead. And then this one will be in favor of removing the items and no one turns to lead. So let's see. Okay. So Orlin decides that despite all of the harm that the Spellmaster has caused the city, turning them to lead is not the right option. Instead, the Spymaster should probably be brought to actual justice, and he has enough proof to show that they are behind all of the things that have happened. Okay, so Orlin knows that we need to reach the Dawn Gate by 12, but because he decided to be a good guy, he knows he needs to find all of the items that were placed along the route by the alchemist before the Spymaster ends up being turned into lead. So he needs to find the runestones, the scorpion, and the file. That means he needs to visit the spire, which is here, which we'll call the start of our parade. And then we need to visit the east dock, which is here. So we're going down and then over. And then we need to visit the tavern. So let's see, where's the tavern? So east dock to the tavern, which is right here. And then we go through and get to the Dawn Gate. So right now it is 10:40. Orlin's going to find these items. If he's going to do that, he needs to make those those two spells. He needs to make the Fool's Truth, and perhaps it would be a good idea to do the Fool's Transmutation, so that way he can turn something else into something similar. So that way the Spymaster, if he thinks that things might be, or wants to double check, he'll still see the same she'll still see the same object and won't get suspicious. So it's going to take an hour to make those two things. So it is now going to be 11:40 p.m. by the time that Orlin finishes up with making those spells. All right. So let's just say, Orland is somewhere near the aqueducts, right? He's underneath the aqueducts for the most part. So he's going to be spit out around the perimeter. And then we have this whole area to get through this part of town. Then he has to go up these set of steps and then up this other set of steps. So let's just say it takes about 30 minutes to get to the front of the spire. So he leaves the aqueducts. He enters the main part of the city. It's 12:10 by the time he gets to the spire. And he notices some guards there. He realizes that the spire is basically home to the high-ranking courtiers of the Citadel. So he needs to find a way to get in. Now, he can try breaking in, but that's not really Orland's thing. He's not really good at that. Or he could try climbing the outside, but again, he's an older man. It doesn't really have all of that in him. So he realizes he might have some stuff on him that might help. So let's review some of the items we have. We have a compass. I don't think that will help. He only has a few coins, so it's not like he's going to bribe anyone. He has an alchemist notebook. He has... I forgot to write down the items we picked up. One sec, guys. Okay, so he picked up the alchemist notebook. He picked up, I'll call it the marked map. He has the Spymaster's plans. He has notebook. What else did he pick up? Oh, we have the alchemist notes, we'll say, of the Spymaster's victims. And then we have the two spells we made. Fool's Choice. Truth. I don't know why I keep wanting to say that. And Fool's Transmutation. So we picked up a few things. But I'll say perhaps Orlin thought about using the transmutation spell on himself, but he didn't really make that much. He made enough for some small items, but doesn't think that it will really work with people. So let's review some of the other things that we have. We know that the notebooks aren't going to help. The map's not going to help. He thought maybe he could bribe people with seeds, but that seems silly. So then he realizes he has his songbirds. So we realize we have the songbirds. They will do whatever they'll do whatever Orlin asks. I don't remember the backstory, but let's just say he used to feed them all the time and has basically helped raise and feed generations of them. So they tend to just hang around him and do his bidding. You can use them once a day, and their effects last for 10 minutes. So the songbird is long said to have the ability to send any who hear it to sleep. So once per day, Orlin can get the songbirds to sing a lovely melody for him. And usually all he has to do is say whistle. We'll just say that. And in response, they will basically sing him a lullaby. Usually he does this to help himself fall asleep after he feeds them. But today he's going to use them to coax the guards to sleep so that way he can enter the spire. So he uses the songbirds to coax the guards to sleep. He covers his ears so he doesn't end up a victim of this and sneaks his way inside. Luckily, it's late, so it's 12:10. All of the residents of the spire are asleep. No need to really worry, but he does keep quiet as he makes his way to the top. And as he makes his way to the top of the spire, he finds that it is extremely windy. He knows that the runes are up here because it was marked on the map, but this wind is definitely something else. Okay, so we're going to roll to see how well Orland does. We need this to be successful, so we know he's going to do it, but we're going to see how much time it takes for him to make it to the runes, right? So let's just say he realizes there's nothing up here, but he notices a gargoyle on the other side of the spire from him. But because it's so windy and because of the structure of the spire, there's only a little walkway that he can use to get around. So he can go one way or another, but he can't go straight across. So luckily the spire's not too large, but because of the wind, he has to be very, very careful not to fall. So he has to go very slow. Anytime the wind picks up, he needs to pause. But let's just see how our luck is. So we'll just say the quickest we could probably get across, had there been no wind, would be 5 minutes. But say it's moderate wind, then maybe it's going to take 10 minutes, twice as long. And then if it's really, really high winds, then it will take 20 minutes total to get out and back. So let's just roll. We'll kind of use this system from our 1-page oracle, right? So if we have that it's likely that we get across quickly, maybe it's moderate, and then very unlikely, we'll go with that. All right, let's see what we have. All right, so we have a 2. We're gonna say that that's unlikely that we get across very quickly, and it takes us 20 minutes to get to the gargoyle. Use our Fool's Truth on it to reveal the runestones, and then we pull out the theater map and use Fool's Transmutation to turn it back into the gargoyle and get back across. So now it's 12:30, and say it took, I don't know, this only goes in times of tens. Okay, I changed it so I can do like part times. So, you know, the spire is pretty high up. So let's just say total, it took about 20 minutes to get up and down as well. So that would get us to 12:50. All right, so Orland has the runestones. I made a new inventory list because I felt like that was cleaner. So I was a little sloppy with that storytelling, but we got to it. All right. So Orland is here. We're at the spire here, and we need to make our way down, and to the east docks over here. Luckily, the east docks and the taverns are close together. We have plenty of time still. It's 12:50. So it's essentially 1 o'clock. Going down the stairs to the east docks are easier than when we had to go up from the aqueduct. So let's say it only takes Orland about 10 minutes. That means, let me go back. That means it's about 1 o'clock now. So we go to the dock. Now the docks, they're busy no matter what time of day, but at night they tend to be more, they have a better vibe than during the day. The day doesn't feel so rushed and hassled. During the evening, it feels like people are just going through their set motions, have a nice rhythm, and there's just overall just more of a calmness that is going on, even though there's still a lot happening. So Orland isn't out of place being at the docks. He might not be a sailor or part of the dock crew or anything like that, but of course people are coming and going at all hours. People are arriving and leaving at all hours. So the docks is where Orland meets the sailor. So Orland goes to the east dock and he sees the sailor. Sailor is rolling out what looks like to be a carpet. So let's decide who our sailor is. So in Act 1, I kept track of our NPCs. I'm going to do the same thing here. So let's see here what we're going to generate. I'm going to use probably a few of these. So let's go ahead and pull them out. I'm using my Fable tables. And let's see. We're going to go with human, so we don't need the D8. Don't really need the alignment. Let's see. We'll do gender. And, oh, I will use the D8. Because we'll use gender and we'll do age. Actually, we're going to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go with the D6 for that one because obviously not infant and not young child. So let's do that. We'll roll for that. Okay, so we have 1. Odd is male, and then for 3, we're going to go with 1, 2, 3. So middle-aged. All right, so we have middle-aged. Let's go with a D100, and we'll see what kind of character traits they have. We'll do 2. All right, so we have 33, kind of gullible seeming, which might be a little presumptuous just by sight. And then let's do another one. We have 90, gullible but stylish. Okay, cool. All right, let's go on to male names. All right, we got 10, Blegram. Okay, so let's do last name. So we'll make this one, that one, this one, this one. Whichever's higher, we'll go with that table. Okay, so we'll pull from here. And then, so Blegram. Oh, 3. Blegram Ikea. Oh, kind of like that name. Let's roll for some distinguishing features. Height, very tall, and build is slight and willowy. Okay, let's go with that. So our sailor, Mr. Belgram, is rolling out what looks to be a carpet. So Orlin goes over to him and is like, hey, what are you doing? And Sailor seems pretty easygoing, so he talks to him and tells him that he is rolling out the carpet for the parade. So he explains that there's going to be a lot of foreign dignitaries attending, including diplomats and ambassadors from the Queen's native land. And so on the top of the Queen, Orlin asks what Belgram thinks of the Queen. He's like, everybody's really the same to him, but really his issue is that all of the activities later today are gonna mess up with their possible schedules. So, after moving away from our new buddy Belgram, Orlin decides to hang out and, peruse the docks. So we know, our omniscient narrator here, that the Scorpion, Orlin knows the Scorpion is disguised. He has his transmutation spells, so he's ready to go. But he has to find the item first. He's looking around, and we know that the Scorpion is disguised as a lobster trap, and it's tucked away by some disguised rowboats at the far end, disused boats at the far end of the docks next to the locked warehouse. So let's just say, for the lore of our story, that Orlin isn't like a spellmaster, but he's an older gentleman. He's traveled different cities. He's come across a lot of different people, so he's at least in tune to magic when it's around him, which is why he was able to do the transmutations, the Fool's Truth and the Fool's Transmutation, and why he was able to find the rune stones. He just has an awareness of when magic is around him. So let's do a roll for how difficult it will be for Orlin to find the the lobster cage, aka the scorpion. So what we'll do is just roll 1d6. I think I'll roll my pretty one. So what we'll decide is 1 through 3 will take about an hour to find. 4 and 5 will take 30 minutes, and a 6 will be 15 minutes. So let's see. Let's see how long it takes Orlin to find the scorpion. Huh. Okay, it takes Orlin an hour to find the scorpion. Let's update our time. So it is now 2 a.m. We're still doing okay on time, although that did take a while. So he finds a scorpion, he sprinkles it with Fool's Truth, and reveals the scorpion. Now it says here the scorpion is furious at being confined. So we need to be careful about, letting it loose. So when Orlin reveals it and sees this scorpion, he jumps out of the way and narrowly misses being stung by the scorpion as it scuttles off. He finds another discarded object and converts that into what looks like the lobster cage. So just in case the Spellmaster comes through, nothing will seem out of the ordinary. So he uses Fool's Transmutation to do that. So we know that our last item is at the tavern, which so happens to be right by the night market. So can't help but not swing by the night market on our way there. So it says that the night market is lit by swinging lanterns in a myriad of hues. The night market is one of the Citadel's most popular fixtures. The marketplace hosts to a motley collection of traders, all competing loudly with one another for customers. Anything can be found here, from humble housewares to exotic spices to strange trinkets that are guaranteed, the seller assures with a crooked smile, to grant the buyer's most secret desire. So the file is just outside of the tavern, hidden on the street, somewhere beside the tavern. Now, I mentioned Orlin has a way of sensing magic, but the night market is chaotic. There's a lot going on. It's really, really hard to focus on a tiny little object, perhaps that's been enchanted. Navigating the market and finding what he's looking for may prove challenging. So things of note, the tavern just closed. It's 2 a.m. now. It doesn't reopen until 8 a.m. The night market goes from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. though. So luckily, we're kind of on the tail end of when the night market actually starts to become a little less rowdy. It's not at its peak, but it's still a little bit chaotic there. So as we enter the night market, we come across another NPC, the Masquerari. So the Masquerari has worked with the Spymaster before to create disguises and has no problems telling people this. So the Masquerari basically creates disguises and masks and stuff. So let's find out who the Masquerari is. All right, going here, let's start with, again, we're going to keep human. We're going to start with the gender. We're going to go again with the D6 for age. All right, so let's start with this. All right, who do we have? Okay, so for gender, we have, again, we have female. This is a 4. And then for age, we have, let's just say an older woman. Very much crone energy. And then let's see here. We have our height. Very short. And our build, we have 2, so lean and compact. And then let's come up with a name. So 21, we have Ekta. And then again, we'll make this table, and and this table. We'll see which one we roll from. Okay, so we have this one. So Ecta 18. Ecta Darren. Alrighty. So Orlin has come across the Masquerade and finds out her name is Ecta Darren. So he asks her about her masks and her work and stuff, and she proudly says that she's worked with the Spymaster to create spies and or masks and disguises for her. And because of that, the Masquerade's masks are infamous. So Orlin, poor thing, only has 66 coins to his name. We don't know if that's going to be enough or not. All right, let's see how much a mask would cost Orlin. Let's roll a D100. So it'll be somewhere between $0 and $100. All right, so we have 8. Okay, eight coins. So Orland, is sweet. Orland's a handsome older gentleman who, again, is fairly well known throughout the Citadel. Has always been very helpful, and is saying that he is, because he knows that the Masquerade, our new friend Miss Ecta, has worked with the Spymaster. He kind of, lets her know that he's doing the Spymaster a top secret favor as well, and it's supposed to be a surprise for everyone during the parade. So, but he wants he needs a mask so that way he can get around more easily and finish setting up the surprise. And he's running out of time because it's 2, right? It's around 2 right now. So he tells her he doesn't have much coin. He's kind of spent it all and really only has a little bit on him. And, she thinks he's a little sweet. So she tells him that if he gives her 8 coins and tells everybody to come to her shop, then she'll consider it good. So he gives her a coin. He gets his change back. Let me see here. All right. So we have 58 left. 58 coins, rather. And now we have received a mask from the Masquerade. So Orlin thanks her, kind of goes about the night market. And let's just say he's run into a few other people. He's run into these 4 people. So we're not going to look up all those people. We're just going to say that he's run across them. All right. So Orlin's going to put his money back. And yes, he has a pink sachet with stars and moons on them because Orlin does not care about gender conforming roles. All right. So he goes to these people and he starts talking to the different shopkeepers and stuff in the market, and he finds out that the king's rule has become very restrictive in the last year or so, and he wonders what the new queen might mean for everyday life in the city. So the queen especially is divisive. Some view her as positive, while others are concerned for the changes she plans to usher in. But overall, one of the consistent themes is that the parade is a very popular topic. Several people are excited for tomorrow's entertainments. Others opining that the parade is a needless taxpayer expense. I guess we can determine who thinks it's More needless, huh? So with that in mind, Orlin goes on to search for the file. He, let's just say all of that took about 30 minutes. No, 45 minutes to do. It's about 2:45 now. And no, I would say that probably took an hour, right? So it's 3. Orland knows, he checks his watch and kind of rolls his eyes and realizes, how could he be so cavalier with his time? The tavern is long closed. And he kind of goes to the front door and just kind of leans against it to get his thoughts together about what he's going to do next. Right now, he thinks that the vial is perhaps inside the tavern, but then he notices in his stillness that he does sense a little bit of the magic nearby. So he goes around and he sees one of the windows of the tavern and sees a broken pint glass under it, but he notices the magical aura, decides to use his fool's truth, and reveals it to be the file. The file contains a strange creature who will offer fulfillment of a wish to anyone who opens the file and releases it. The creature's intentions are likely malign, but it's very persuasive. Okay, so let's do a coin flip to see if one, does Orlin offer to release it? So let's see. I open means yes. I close means no. Let's see. Does Orlin release the creature? Ooh, no, he does not. So we don't need to worry about any sort of wishes or anything like that. So Orlin decides that it's not worth it to release the creature. We don't really know the details of this creature. So, and we already let the scorpion go, so we need at least some proof of the things that he's capturing, right? So he keeps the file and puts it again in his pack. So we're gonna add the file. So Orlin pulls out his map and he sees the key is placed in the aqueduct. So he has to go back to the aqueduct. Before he was underground, now he has to go up. So he finds a worker's entrance and proceeds to go up to the atop the aqueduct. There he actually stumbles upon the alchemist. So the alchemist, who wasn't expecting to be tailed tonight, obviously reacts a little hostile. He assumes that, he's plotting against the Spymaster, who has already killed previous victims, and needless to say, and expectedly, the alchemist is on high alert. So seeing Orlin pop up really just sets off the Spymaster, who confronts Orlin with a knife. This is where Orlin can talk to the alchemist. We have a few options. So one is to tell the full truth, that we've taken all of the items and thwarted their plans, but we want to help bring the Spellmaster down ultimately. Or part of the truth, where we're working on trying to figure out what the Spymaster's true intentions are because they were hired and things seem suspicious. Or we can lie. So Orlin's a stand-up guy. He generally likes to tell the truth, but he is also being confronted by a knife right now, right? So I don't think he's gonna lie, but let's see. We'll do a coin flip. So eyes open is full truth, eyes closed is partial truth. So let's see what Orlin does. Whoop, there we go. Eyes closed. Okay. Orlin explains to the alchemist that the Spymaster hired them, and that in their search for the missing items, hired them to find the missing items, and in their search for the missing items, realized that it was actually the Spellmaster all along who's been causing a lot of discourse throughout the city, and who set up those items to hurt the queen, which he doesn't agree with. He goes on to explain that he has collected the map and has the notes on the previous victims, and that he's working to try to bring the Spymaster down. Let's see how well received that explanation is. We're going to use the how good something is, the how of this oracle, to see how the alchemist reacts to the story, how he feels about it. Okay, so 3. So it's about average. So the alchemist reveals that they never really wanted to work with the Spymaster. And they were appointed a few years ago by the king. And as they had grown up in the lowest levels of the Citadel, the alchemist was excited for the opportunity to work in the illustrious academy, providing alchemical concoctions for the royal court. However, they soon caught the Spymaster's attention, who saw the alchemist as the perfect weapon. I also forgot, guys, let's find out who the alchemist is. We've been hunting him down for so long. So we already know the alchemist is a guy. All right, so we know the alchemist is a guy, and let's find some names here. Here we go. Let's see. Whoops. Let's roll that again. Okay, so 47. Harold. How quaintly regular. So again, the purple will be the female names and the red will be the male names. Let's see which table we go with. Okay, let's go with a female name for the last name. So 76. Harold Riagna. Oh, I like that. For this, we're just going to say that they are a young adult. Let's see, height and build. Okay, so that was a 1 and a 5. I accidentally moved it, but that was a 1 and a 5. So Harold is middle-aged, very tall. 5, so a bit on the husky side. So we're talking to Harold about everything. The alchemists with their unique skills, Harold with his unique skills, could eliminate any threat that the Spymaster could not officially deal with, leaving no trace that either the alchemist or the Spymaster were involved in the crime. Uneasy with these missions, Harold did not respond enthusiastically to the Spymaster's request, so, to sweeten the pot, the Spymaster promised to get the botanist a royal appointment in the garden, lifting them out of poverty and giving them the job that they had dreamed of. Remember, the botanist and the alchemist have a relationship. So this was very important to the alchemist. Harold couldn't say no, but as the Spymaster's demands grew more and more insidious, his reluctance became more apparent. To ensure Harold's continued compliance, the Spymaster began to threaten the botanist, planting deadly nightshade in the garden to prove that even if the alchemist fled, the botanist would still be accused of the very crimes their company had committed. So the request to kill the queen was the last straw. The alchemist can see the writing on the wall. The Spymaster has become the puppet master of the realm, and the queen is the only person who might be able to break the Spymaster's hold on the king. The alchemist, Harold, requested the items they needed, and after arguing with the Spymaster, managed to steal the key to tie the transmutation spell to the Spymaster instead of the queen. Now it's up to Harold to decide how they're gonna proceed. It says here, will he attack the alchemist and incapacitate them so as to stop their plan? Seems unlikely. Will he try to appeal to the alchemist's better judgment, suggesting instead that they all go to Dawngate tomorrow and use what evidence they've collected, along with the alchemist's confession and the truth-compelling perfume, to expose the Spymaster's treasonous conspiracies? Or will they help the alchemists in their plan and ensure that the Spymaster has turned the lead? First, we need to decide, what we're going to do. Orland has already made up his mind. He has already started removing the items. And, the clock is ticking. It's 3. Actually, I would say that took about 30 minutes, right? Of all of that. So it's about 3:30 in the morning, and the parade is going to start at 10. So they have 6.5 hours to do something. So Orlin is going to appeal to the alchemist to appeal to them to reveal the Spymaster's plan. Orlin is trying to appeal to the alchemist. He shows him all of the stuff. He takes a risk and shows him all of the stuff that he's found. He explains that it's not right to turn the Spymaster to lead, and that the Spymaster should face justice. Of course, the alchemist who's been under the Spymaster's thumb for so long probably feels a little more desperate about this, and isn't quite in agreement. But Orlin starts to show him the things that they have. So he shows him that he has the alchemist's notebook, which he willingly gives to the alchemist, has all of the alchemist's spells and workings and all of that, and notes, and then shows that he has the transmutation notebook, shows the alchemist notes of the Spymaster's victims, the Spymaster's plan. He has a little bit more Fool's Truth and Fool's Transmutation, shows him the runes, the mask, and the file. Of course, he has the broom. It's a magical broom, so it fits in his bag. The veil, the belladonna seeds, and the fulminating silver. As he's explaining this, suddenly they are joined by someone else. All right, dun dun dun. Enter the assassin. So, we haven't really had any combat throughout this, right? But we're going to have to fight the assassin. Harold, our alchemist, hasn't quite made up their mind. They were interrupted. Harold and Orlin were interrupted in the middle of discussing what their next plans are going to be when the assassin pops up. Let's find out about the assassin. We obviously are not going to get a name, but we can see what he looks like. All right, let's see. Male or female? We have male. I'm going to say young adult here. Well, let's do scars. We'll do a D20. Let's see what kind of scars they have. We have 18. Rope bone scars circle the character's neck. And then let's do one more. 14. Let's see. 2 perfectly round scars are scattered somewhere on the character's body. So, let's see. So we know that male. Oh, and I can do height. I forgot. So let's see. Average. The other one was 2 perfectly round scars. We'll just say that they're on, the scars are on the assassin's hands. Almost like a brand. Oh, and then let's do build D10. Where's my D10? Here it is. All right. So we have 6 muscular. Oh no, that's not good. Okay, let's do another D20 for tattoos, and then we'll be done. Orlin and Harold are face to face with a very terrifyingly muscular guy who has these terrifying rope burns around his neck as if he had been hung almost. And oddly enough, he has 2 perfectly round scars on each hand, and Orlin spots a naked woman tattoo on the leg. Let's discern. These are our items that Orlin has. But let's just pick out, we'll say, you know, the Spymaster, or the Harold, the alchemist, has been, he's been on red alert for a while. So let's just say he's going to have a handful of things in his arsenal. But let's see what they are. Let's see. And some of these won't necessarily fit the thing, so we're just going to look at the back of the book to see what they might mean. Because he is an alchemist after all. Oh, you know what I should have done? Let's roll a d10 to see how many items he has. And I'm choosing 10 because it's a nice round number. Oh my god, why am I... Here it is. I'm like, why am I not seeing this? Okay, so he has 6 items on him. So let's pull 2 more. So the alchemist has knots, which we'll interpret as like ropes and stuff. The vase, a signpost, victuals, which looks like food, a letter, and scorpions. So let's look at the back of the book. So the knot will tie 2 people's fate together. I'm going to put this in alphabetical order because that's how the book is aligned. The letter is enchanted paper. When torn in half, if you write on one half, the other half, you see the writing as well. The scorpion is loyal to its owner and will strike any assailant upon its release, with good chance that the damage could be fatal. So remember, Orlin let the scorpion go. He narrowly missed being struck by its poison, but the scorpion, perhaps being, we'll just say for the sake of the story, being in the alchemist's care for so long, has gone back to the alchemist and sees him as his new owner. The signpost, when drawn on a wall, will point you in the direction of a person you're looking for. The vase, a shard from the vase is said to bring protection to one who carries it, but also great misfortune. Once per day, you can draw its power, and it is fate whether it is positive or negative. And then victuals. This replenishes health. It's like a hearty meal, and it refills itself once per day. So there are a few items in there in the victuals in the bag. Let's see how many items. We'll use a D10 again. Where is it? Here it is. All right. How many items are in there? 7. So there are 7 items. You can use it 7 times, but once you use it 7 times, it's gone until the next day, and it resets. Alrighty, so we have a few things. So Orland, if you remember, has the songbirds, which he already had to use at the spire. He has the veil, which, if you remember, let me go back to the book, just reveals, when you hang it up in front of you, it reveals things that happened up to 48 hours previously. The helm we are just using as a compass. It's about direction and journey, so that's why. And then, of course, we already used the songbirds. So in regards to the cards, Orlin doesn't have much, but he does have... Oh, and he has the broom. I just haven't pulled those cards out. So he has the broom, which probably would have been good to pull out. So he'd already shown the alchemist he has these things, right? Now, we already discerned that these things probably aren't going to be helpful. Let's see what these provide. The broom's probably not going to be helpful, and the runes probably aren't. But let's remind ourselves of the file and the perfume. The perfume, once per day, wearing the perfume will ensure that any lie its wearer is more likely to be believed and offers resistance to any truth-telling spells. Also, when inhaled, the perfume enchants the person so that they cannot knowingly tell a lie, but they can avoid answering entirely. The vial contains a creature that intentions are most likely not very pure. So, with that being said, let's get started. All right, so for this portion, I'm going to create like stats, I guess, real quick. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll be right back. All right, so I'm going to roll these. I'll roll an extra for the last one, but I'm going to roll these for each character. And yeah, let's just go ahead. We'll do Orlin first and see how it works. These don't seem to make sense. So I think what I'll do is do like a boost on them, but I'll get to that in a second. So strength is 10, Dexterity is 6. Constitution is 7. Intelligence. See, 1 and 1 don't make sense. So I'm going to roll again. I'll roll 3 more for intuition, wisdom, and charisma. Let's see about Harold. And for the assassin, let's see here. I guess I'm not doing this right. But hey, I'm learning. So let's go ahead and get started with this battle. It seems that the assassin, he already had his knife poised, and as soon as they notice him, he throws his knife. Let's see how successful that is. So he throws his knife at the alchemist, at Harold. Let's see how successful he is with that. So I have my little 1-page generator here. We're gonna go with just like we're gonna sort of rework this how here. So how is supposed to be when you need to know how big, good, strong, numerous, or something is. Instead, I'm gonna make it like how successful, right? So 1 would be surprisingly lacking, meaning was unsuccessful. 2 is less than expected, where like maybe you were close but it didn't meet the goal. 3, 4 is average, where like you might have hit your target but it wasn't as good as what you thought it was going to be. 5, more than expected, and then 6, extraordinary. So let's go ahead, and then I think what I'll do is for like any stat that is like higher, I might use like an amplifier or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'm working this out as I go along, guys. So the assassin throws his knife at Harold, at our alchemist. Let's see how successful that is. So we got a 2. Harold is lucky. The knife soars right by him because Orlin pushes him out of the way. Orlin doesn't necessarily have the best reflexes or best agility, I guess, but if he's learned to trust one thing over the years, it's his intuition. So he pushes Harold out of the way. Harold, who is still kind of coming to his senses about everything that's going on, and isn't the most graceful, stumbles and lands on a knee. So our guys have to figure out, Orlin and Harold need to figure out what they are going to do next. And let's say for the usefulness of this battle, maybe only these things matter here. We don't know what the assassin has. We'll just play along by ear. Alrighty. So the assassin made their first move. Orland pushed Harold out of the way. Harold, our alchemist, who has since stumbled to one knee. And now Orland is poised and ready to go. He doesn't know what the alchemist has, and he also doesn't know what the assassin has, but he can safely assume the assassin has something else up their sleeve. Orland helps the alchemist up, helps Harold up, and by this time, Harold is figuring out, what's going on. So he decides to release his scorpion and send it to attack the assassin. So let's see how successful that is. And I think with the scorpion, I'll give it a bit of a boost because the scorpion is still pretty angry from earlier. Okay, so we have very successful. So the scorpion runs over to the assassin and stings him. The assassin doesn't kill the scorpion. Scorpion's okay, but definitely shakes him loose. Too late to avoid the sting, but the scorpion's kind of a little bit rattled and goes limping back to the alchemist and back into the alchemist's bag. Let's see how quickly the venom works. So the venom is deadly. The writing is on the wall for the assassin, whether they realize it or not, but they still have a job to do. And we're going to see how quickly the venom is going to work. So I'm going to keep with my D6. So it's moderate. So not very quick acting, but it's not going to take forever. So the effects, the assassin starts to recognize very quickly that the venom is starting to like numb his extremities, which means that they probably don't have very much longer. So he pulls another knife out and decides to throw it at the alchemist again. I'm going with a D4 because they're a little wobbly on their feet now. Things are going to start to get blurry. We have a 4. So 4 is about average. So despite missing the mark the first time, assassin throws his knife and it hits the alchemist, but it doesn't hit anything vital because he's struggling. His mark is still is a little off. We'll just see how the damage affects Harold. Okay, so it's a 4. So it's about average. It just hurts. Nothing lethal. So yeah, there's some bleeding, there's some pain, but at the end of the day, it is a non-issue in the grand scheme of their fight. That was the last move that the alchemist had up their sleeve because they're starting to feel the effects of the venom. Now they're not dying yet, or they're not dead yet, but they can no longer move. So they're slowly collapsing. Orland and Harland go and confront the assassin. So they go and confront the assassin. By the time they get there, he's lying on the ground and struggling to breathe. So Orland realizes that they're not going to get any information out of him. He can barely breathe, let alone talk. So they go and leave the assassin. So now we are back to our original conversation where we need to decide what we're going to do. Orland has just saved the alchemist's life. So I will say that the alchemist is probably a little more comfortable with accepting Orland's position on things. So I would say he's fairly likely to receive Orland's suggestion to expose the Spymaster. So let's see. We'll roll a d6. All we need is a 3 or higher. Okay, 4. All right. So the alchemist listens and begrudgingly still decides to take Orland up on his suggestion to expose the Spymaster. So all of that, the fight with the alchemist, while it seemed quick, took, let's just say, an hour. So right now it's 4:30 a.m. The alchemist pulls the knife out and uses his, remember, he has these healing foods, I'll call them, the victuals. Takes 1, he has 7, so he has 6 left in order to heal his wounds. We have plenty of time to spare. We end up going to the parade. We go to the Dawn Gate to meet the parade. So fast forward in time. Orland and the alchemist Harold go to the Dawn Gate to wait for the parade to stop. So once the parade gets to the Dawn Gate, Orland and Harold use that opportunity to confront the queen. Because Orland has the veil, he uses it to show the queen everything that happened in the last 48 hours. The plot against them shows the evidence of past victims of the Spymaster, and shows her the mask that she got from the masquerade and explains this is how the Spellmaster has been able to hunt down her victims. So finally, Orland hands over the perfume bottle to the queen and asks her to use it to see that he's telling the truth. So instead, she uses it on the Spellmaster, who ends up having to confess everything of what they've been doing and the plot against her. We have successfully brought down the Spellmaster, who has silently been puppeteering the entire Citadel for God knows how long. And we have saved the queen in the process. So, of course, Orlin and the alchemist are rewarded. The king even offered them the chance to be appointed as royal investigators, taking on the Spymaster's task of protecting the realm from conspiracy. So let's see if Orlin takes him up on that offer. This would open eye is yes, closed eye is no. Whoop! Oh my god. Oh my gosh, I almost hit the camera. Okay, let's try again. There we go. So, Orlin decides to take him up on this offer. Orlin's well known throughout town, is always helping people, so this is right up his alley, and everybody would be very supportive of that promotion, we'll call it. And with the help of the alchemist, they'll be able to protect the Citadel from any future opposition or troubles. I'm going to write out that we were successful, and I will be right back. Okay, everyone, that was a successful campaign, solo campaign rather, of Orlin, Trueblood from the Runaway, who became the Citadel investigator. If you enjoyed this, comment below, let me know. Please give me some tips on solo RPGs and stuff like that. I've actually never done a real campaign. This is my foray into like this style of tabletop gaming. So it was super fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you like this video. Like it anyway, even if you didn't enjoy it. Hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.